10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for this last minute show. I was hoping for 2 nights off, but no, Twitter had to go into meltdown. Newcastle United had to go into meltdown and spoil my 2 nights off. And I've got work tomorrow. Thanks. But it had to be done. We've got loads to go through. We're going to have an adult conversation about all the rumours. Some of them seem very concrete. Some of them seem ridiculous. So we'll have a chat through with them what we think this means for the football club. And what it means for the players as well and what they would do. So it's going to be a very interesting topic tonight. So before I do, let's go in the chat very quickly. Evening, everyone. Evening, Baz. So if you want to chat tonight, you want to join in, you have to be a subscriber. We've set to subscribers only now. So please hit that subscribe button. Join in the chat. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diacro. Code BAZ20 to get 20% off anything that they do. Link is in the description. And Football Prizes, an amazing sponsor. We're going to be giving away a £40 gift card on Diacro and a £100 credit to their site to buy raffle tickets. And these are the sort of things that they raffle off. I mean, 15 prizes to be won on this. And it's a fully signed this year's shirt that's going with 15 other prizes on top. I've got my tickets. Fingers crossed I win it, and then it will be going into an even bigger raffle to raise money for charity if I do win it. So fingers crossed. Right, that's the rubbish out the way. Let's bring Ian in. Hello, Ian.
Good evening.
Out of the blue, this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation after our last show going, when should we do the next one? And it's, well, obviously 48 hours later, and we're like, it's just red hot news straight away. So it's something to get our teeth stuck into, and like,
oh, there's so much. It blew my head off today, and I've literally been on it all day. I've been trying to look after my kids at the same time. It's been an absolute nightmare. Evening, Richard. Evening, Mighty Mag. Hey, Chaz. Good to see you. We'll just get through all these very quickly, and then we'll start with the stuff. Please still share and share to your socials to help the channel grow. The usual stuff. Donations, bottom right-hand corner. Become a member for just 99p if you want to. It's up to yourselves. Les won the golden frame shirt. I can't wait till he gets that. And it's great to see Chaz. I know Chaz finds it difficult to get on because of the time zone. And we've also got someone in from Australia watching at this time of the day. So well done for getting up for that. Right. You spoke to someone, we'll keep his name out of it completely. There's a few very interesting things that you sent to me, and we waited all day to find out if we can use it, and we got the go-ahead about an hour ago. So it all starts. I'm going to go for this first, then we're going to go with everything else, because I cannot believe Gary Neville is actually on our side. He's actually said FFP was brought in for elite clubs to protect the elite clubs. That's a breath of fresh air to hear, isn't it, Ian?
I just think as Man United's in turmoil, he's coming out with stuff like that.
Potentially.
He's right, wasn't it? He's 110% right what he says, and you know it's tiring now. This financial fair play thing, it really is.
Yeah.
It's just every single football. I mean, even Arsenal said they can't go out and buy players now because of financial fair play. And Jurgen Klopp was petrified of us when we got took over.
Yeah, he was.
He says there's just going to be no ceiling for them, and the amount of money he spent is just absolutely ridiculous compared to, you know. And he wants to carry on spending, and it's you know, it's tireless now what we're talking about. It's just like a broken record getting brought up day in, day out. You know, I do think clubs are absolutely petrified of it because they don't want
10-point deductions or 20-point deductions or whatever you end. Relegation potentially for Man City if they get found guilty, according to their ex-lawyer. I don't think they'll be found guilty, to be honest with you.
No, and I think, I know Everton there, and I mean, I looked at the league table today, and they'll go down to 7 points. You know, and to recover after having 20 points took off them, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. Like,
this is the thing I don't understand, right? FFP was brought in to protect clubs from going under. That was the whole idea of it, wasn't it? So if you then deduct teams 10, 20 points, you're then damning them to relegation. You're then making them to sell their best players. They then get stuck in the Championship. They could go down to League One, and then they could end up folding. So you're actually just doing it slowly to them, aren't you? Really, because they're not going to financially compete if they do get relegated. It's just, I just don't understand it. It's not fit for purpose.
I mean, it was first started with a directive proof of owner and the owner proof of owners test, wasn't it? That have the money to do it. Now, obviously, there was Burnley. Did Burnley do it with they said they had all this money and they didn't have the money? And there's been other clubs. They did. And there was other clubs that's in, so I can understand that. But if your owner's proven that he's got funds, surely you should be allowed to spend it.
Yeah,
exactly. I can understand if an owner comes in and he says he's got X amount of pounds, and he goes out his way and signs all these players and spends money that he hasn't got, and then that makes that club financially crippled just because of they haven't got the money to do it. I totally understand that. But surely there's other ways and means that it allows the club to spend money when clearly they've got the money to do it. Like,
yeah, exactly. They should be able to go to the FA, to Premier League, and say, right, I'm an owner. I have this kind of money. I want to put X amount in. I'm not going to hold it against the club as debt. So let me do it, and then they should be allowed to do it.
I mean, the one for me as well is when you're trying to improve your academy and your training ground. That's better in the club, but that can be held in your financial report as well and be held against you.
Because it shouldn't be, though. I heard it wasn't meant to be, but then I've heard other rumours that the Everton stuff is being held against them.
Which I find, because then in the next breath, they're saying you should be bringing your homegrown talent in to make kind of profits on them for your financial, but how can you not make your profit on your homegrown talent if your facilities and your training grounds not up to scratch? And them lot over the road, they've had a far better academy than ours for I don't know how long. And and their youth have been far superior than ours, simply, I think, because I think the talent in the areas probably had a choice between the two clubs and went, I'm not going to Newcastle because have you seen the facilities what they've got? And Sunderland's, do you know what I'm saying? So I just don't get, if you're trying to improve everything, I don't know how that can be held against you as well.
I don't get it. And also the other thing with FFP is apparently it hasn't moved with the times of inflation either. It's always stayed the same amount. So how does that work? Everything moves up. Wages move up. Everything moves up. Tax moves up. So you should be moving the FFP bracket up as well to go with inflation and then give clubs a chance, you know? So it's not fit for purpose, is it?
Hey, this FFP is getting like VAR, where it's so debatable in so other ways, where some things are right and so many things are wrong. It needs to be sorted out. There's got to be better ways and means. And I'm not just speaking on Newcastle's behalf here. There's other clubs in our league that's got money that will probably be in exactly the same boat.
Villa.
Yeah.
Everton are obviously the other one the owners do have money. They're just FFP's absolutely clamped them. Brighton have obviously probably got money as well because of all the players they've sold.
Yeah, I know Wolves have got very, very rich owners. I think they're up there with one in the top 6 in the country. I think they are the Wolves owners. So, they'll be
in Sheffield United as well because they've got Saudi owners, haven't they?
They've got Saudis as well, so they'll not be short of a few bob. But weren't they not close to? There was something about the Championship when they were in the Championship. They signed so many players, and they were nearly fine and everything for it. But I think they just got away with it to get through it in the Premier League. They took a massive gamble to get in, and it paid off.
I mean, Forrest as well. That owner wants to spend what he wants, and he's sort of doing it, and now he's probably regretting it a little bit.
I think that I think it's the Johnson signing what stood out for me, where Tottenham came in for him in early June, and I think they offered 40 million, but Notts Forest actually turned around and said no, I think he's worth more than that. And I think they had a deadline to put the books in, but then he came in August and settled for 56 million, and because they didn't get that signing in on the books on time, they've been penalised for it.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Right, let's get into the juicy stuff then. So you spoke to someone who was doing something part of the club. We're not going to name anything. We're not going to tell everyone what they were doing. But the first one is obviously I put a bit of feeler out yesterday because you mentioned this one. I thought it was brilliant about Callum Wilson. So Callum Wilson has never played, and I found this out. He's never played in the third round of the FA Cup for Newcastle. He's been with us 5 years now. He's never been available. Mystery injuries. Apparently, though, there's something in his contract that says that he doesn't have to play in the third round of the FA Cup. He can just go on a longer jollies. That's mental.
Yeah, that's it. And how it came about? Obviously, I was speaking to the lad, and he's actually doing his UEFA B at Newcastle. And we got talking and stuff, and then I goes, "Come on, then what's going on at Newcastle?" And the first thing I asked for, have you heard anything? What if any incomings is coming in? And then he just brought me guns incomings. He says the place is in a little bit of a bit of a mess that people don't realise what's going on. And then he brought obviously Callum Wilson up, and he says to us, he's never played in an FA Cup third round when he's been at Newcastle because he goes away on holiday. I goes, no, I'm telling you. He says there's something there
Crazy
that he can go away if he chooses to go away in.
So it's his choice. So he could play if he wanted to.
That last week in December and the first week in January.
Right.
And I goes, I says, you cannot get injured. We're not doing anything unless the dust has injured him at home. And then you kind of think, God, is this kind of true, you know? And then obviously I sent that to you, and then people's come back with stats, and he's never ever been in anywhere near it. So you kind of think, God, is really this in his contract? I just don't know. It's one of them.
Ashley days, though, wasn't it?
It's Ashley, exactly. And we were probably desperate for a top number 9 at the time, and he's probably come in and just dictated what he wanted to do, and we'll just probably
maybe that's why he knocked back Villa, because he knew he'd get what he wanted if he came to Newcastle.
Probably, but it's one of them ones where you think, is it right? But then when you look at the stats and what he's done, he's gone. It's maybe is true, that one.
I mean, I can imagine he might want to play something like Man United, Liverpool, or someone like that. You probably want to dust his boots off. But when you got Cambridge, Sheffield Wednesday, all that sort of stuff, I suppose you should be able to do without him potentially. But it's not a great hearing that he can just spin off if he decides to. But hey, that's his prerogative. We can't really complain. He smashed in the goals and kept us up. I've got to be nice to him because I'm trying to get him on. I'm trying to get a shirt signed by him. Fingers crossed. So we will say no more on Callum Wilson. Right, the next one, which doesn't surprise me now, and I've heard it in England a few times, but you confirmed it, that there is a rift between Dan Ashworth and Eddie Howe. Now, me personally, I think Eddie Howe should have had no say whatsoever on transfers. It should have been left to Dan Ashworth, the scouts, to find the gems that he did for Brighton, follow that mould, and Eddie Howe concentrates on football matters only. Eddie Howe doesn't want to do that. He wants to be involved, but it's now caused a rift between the man who could then end up going off to Man United because he's not getting 100% saying what he wants to do. So that's quite a bad fallout for me. If it's true, of course, we don't. We can only go with what this lad said.
Yeah, I mean, this 20-minute conversation I had, honestly, there was that much to take in. People think, God, you're like, if you kind of try and put 2 and 2 together, right? After you've had this conversation, you think, gosh, some of this can't be right, because if you put back in perspective what's going on and how we've been playing, and But if everything was all rosy and we were flying like we were last year, you think, God, I'm not listening to a word you're saying here, like. But he has said that the exactly right there about transfers. The Chris Wood one, it was Eddie Howe that wanted to bring Chris Wood in, and the one that which I didn't know anything about, I never heard anything about, was the goalkeeper that actually went to Arsenal from Brentford, Ria.
Yes.
Apparently, Ashworth had. He said to me, he says Ashworth had that deal done for him to come and sign for Newcastle.
Wow.
Eddie Howe says, I don't want him. He says, I want Nick Pope. So that was that. So the kind of stuff going on like that.
That as well. Apparently, Ashworth wanted Kudus, but Eddie Howe wanted Barnes. And look how well he's doing at West Ham.
Yeah, and then obviously then that goes away. If that's the case with the transfers, my exact words goes, well, what's Matt Ritchie and Paul Dummett obviously warranting extra contracts and stuff? And then I said, I know Paul does a lot of work with the foundation, etc. So he goes, but that doesn't warrant contracts. But Eddie Howe's looking after his mates, and that's with the exact words what he was saying. So
don't like the sound of that.
No.
Oh man. But apparently, obviously, you said this goes back to the Wood signing. Yeah. Apparently, as well, the rumor with cheating with trips. We'll come on to trips a little bit later. We're going to talk about Joelinton now, first of all, before we go back to the stuff that's in this message, because this really wound me up. And it wound me up because it's the way it's been written. Apparently, first of all, it was going to miss 8 games. Now he's going to miss the season, and now he's never going to play for Newcastle United again. And then it was this last bit. He's got 18 months left on his deal, but the wage demands are too high. Club would be forced to sell him if no resolution. Joelinton was very poor for 2 years for us. And yes, he got a lot of stick. But when Eddie Howe came in, he turned his career around. And he turned him into Joelinton obviously deserves a lot of credit because he had to put in the hard work. But Eddie Howe deserves a lot of credit, and the fans do, and the club do, for sticking by him. And I find this, if it's true, I find this horrible that he's demanding this, demanding that, and demanding this. There should be a little bit of give and take from both sides for what we've done for his career. We've got him into the Brazil team. We brought Bruno in to play alongside him, which has obviously elevated his game as well, and also Bruno's game. So we've done a lot for Joelinton, and I feel he owes us a little bit, not everything, but he owes us a little bit for how we've turned his career around, stuck by him, and supported him ever since. I mean, it just feels a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, that one.
Well, I think
it's true.
Again, if it's true, but I think it's just that I wish this window was open. Sorry, I wish it was open. I wish it was finished. Yeah, I wish it was. Honestly, it's the positivity from a window of the last 2 windows what we've had compared to this one. It's been completely the opposite. It's been nothing but just bad news. There's nothing positive about it, and then you're just waiting for another day for a different book to open with something completely that's wrong. And like last year, we had like that togetherness. What we showed last year was just absolutely fantastic. I just don't feel that this year for some reason. But I mean, the Joelinton one for me, yes, he's obviously he's one of the most improved players for the last couple of years. I agree totally that he's had to work hard for it. Bruno's obviously complimented him to get him to that next level, to get him into the Brazil squad. The injury obviously is absolutely devastating for us. But for me to say that's the last ball he's going to kick for Newcastle when he's still got such a long time on his contract. For me, I didn't really look at it and think, oh God, we're going to lose Joelinton, because I think it's a long time on his contract. His wage demands are a little bit too high, but what's he on a week? Is he on 40 grand? Is he wanting to double that to 80?
I think he was one of the highest paid players when he joined the club with Ashley. So I think
So-
he's on about the 75k
So-
mark
So
potentially.
if he's on 75, he's not going to hit nowhere near Bruno's wages. It's allegedly what Bruno's wages is on. If you see, you don't know what his demands are, what the club's structure is, and it'll probably be his agent just trying to. Me personally, I don't think it's Joelinton, because Joelinton, what you get with Joelinton, I think he loves the place, loves the club, loves everything about it. But it's modern day footballers, like you say. If everybody else getting these big wages, Tonali coming in on big wages, obviously Bruno on big wages, Isak's going to be on big wages, Botman's going to be on half decent wages, but he could be, like I heard as well, he could be signing a long-term contract with the next couple of weeks. Hopefully that's fingers crossed on that one as well. So you can see probably why he's wanting extra money, but yes, he's going. How was the club turned around straight away and went, that's far too much. For me, I think it's too early in the pipeline. I think it's just another a journalist trying to get something.
I think it could be just, but when you read it, you think, oh, that stings a little bit. But just go back to some of Ches. How do we know about Kudus? That Ashworth wanted them and Barnes didn't. It's from people I heard from very good places, to be fair. Can't say where because we can't blow contacts and stuff like that. But yeah, and I think it's widely known that Kudus was wanted by Ashworth and he was scouted by him, to be honest with you. So it's nothing new, really. But go on, you were going to say something on that.
No, that's fine. No.
Jonathan's on 85k, apparently.
He's on 85.
So he's looking for about 50k more, isn't he, a week, potentially? Bruno's on 135, isn't he?
So he wants to be joint top earner. Again, I can say, if that's true, I can probably see why the club, because where do you draw the line where if somebody else comes in and everybody's going to be on that the same wavelength with the same wages, it's going to be. I can see if it's true. I can see what the club's doing there. They must be thinking, hang on a minute, you've got how many Brazil caps have you got now, internationals? 3, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm not worried about that one because, like I say, there's still 18 months left in his contract, so there's plenty of time to negotiate that. And in 18 month time, anything can happen. Joelinton could be gone within. Yeah, he could be still here. 18 months is a long time in football.
Yeah. We're coming to it, Scott. We've got lots to go through, mate. Bonds is top class. Joelinton is not worth more than 80k per week. Oh, yes. Joelinton's one of our best players. You take him out the side and you see all the holes that develop into midfield, which we've done loads of shows on. So we don't really need to go into that. The great bit about Joelinton was that this came out. And you'll see a confident of successful resolution to Joelinton's situation. Two sides currently some way apart. But there's wiggle room either side. So when I read that, I was a little bit, relieved after what I read. First of all, this came out about 4 hours afterwards. So I was just like, poof, let's hope that's right.
I mean, I thought that straight away when I read the first one. There's two. If there was 6 months left on his contract, I think I would worry. But because it's probably, if that's the case when he's demanding that kind of wages, normally, that they're going to leave the football club. It's like, take it or leave it. But with Joelinton, I've got a good friend of mine who's a Man United fan, and just going back to what the lads just texted in there and said he's not worth so much wages. He said of all the players, he would love to go to Man United as Joelinton.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said that. Even Liverpool fans have said they love him as well.
And I thought he would have said Bruno or Botman or Isak. He went Joelinton. He says, I would love Joelinton at Man United. That goes, you're not getting him.
Yeah, definitely not getting him. 80k is a lot, don't forget. It is a lot, but not in football terms. This is the thing. Big players get big wages and they deserve it. It's shitstorm journalism. Probably, yeah. You're probably right. But we're covering everything that's happened today and we're having an adult conversation about it and trying to decipher through it. This got me scared. There's a private plane coming in from Munich tomorrow.
Yes.
I've contacted my contact at the airport. He's looking into it to try and find out who might be on the plane, or I can't say who he is because that'll get him sacked, but I know someone who works at the airport. So I'm hopeful we'll find out what all that's about. I haven't heard back from him tonight yet, which is a shame because I was hoping to have something for the show. But it is all about Kieran Trippier. Now, there's a lot of stuff flying around. The fan base is split. I've been having some great conversations about it all day, about football side, business side, the football in terms of it. Some people are just stuck in their ways. They can't see one side, or they can only see one way, not the other. It's led to some very interesting conversations. But your person says that apparently the cheating was a load of shite. And he said after the Everton game, Trips had Lascelles and had a fight. So that's very, very interesting. So it's got nothing to do with Trippier cheating on his wife and all this sort of stuff. We've seen all the pictures over New Year with him with his missus and all looking sweet and rosy. But it's an actual infight that's happened. And it's not come out anywhere. So for us to actually hear about this is quite astounding, to be fair. But it was a training ground bust up it happened at the Everton game, then it went on to the training ground, and Eddie Howe and Tyndall had to split it up. So that is very interesting. Now they're both tipped for a move.
But see, that's because the first word he said, and he goes, this Trippier lot with about the wife cheating and all this again, what a load of shit. That was his exact words. And I said, what's crack like? And he says, after the Everton game, he says they had a right old ding dong in the changing room. And what his exact words were, he goes, Trippier was turning around and saying to him that Lascelles always plays the easy pass, he just plays the safe one. And then obviously everybody, it's getting out of hand and stuff there. So then it goes to the training ground, and then they've started to split it up. But these other words were that he says Eddie Howe had Lascelles' side and Tyndall had Trippier's side.
All
right. But then all of a sudden this comes out where both of them could potentially on the move out. And you're thinking, what do you think? Because everybody automatically thought they've been to the Vermont.
Yeah.
Right, they've been to Vermont, and then obviously Trippier. They've been running a 5-gang brothel, and they haven't caught everybody. But then you kind of again your brain goes, is this happening? Like it has this happened, because I don't think they would have let something slip out like that. And you know, Trippier hasn't looked the same for a long, long time. Like. He just didn't look his normal self. So that was just another piece of news. Honestly, that 20-minute conversation.
It blew your head, didn't
it? You either believe it or you think...
That's the message I got from you. I was like, it's like an essay.
You know, and it's... You think... But then, like I say, if nothing's out there that... you can put like 2 and 2 together, or try and piece the jigsaw together, you would think that's a load of rubbish. But there is stuff there that you kind of can correspond to the stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Today, like kind of when I read that, I thought, oh God, some of that's got to be a load of crap. And some of it does actually, correspond with a few things I've heard. And then today, all of it sort of pieces together with everything that's out on Twitter. It's crazy. It's probably Adidas Flight. It could be Adidas Flight. Then, to be fair, I never really thought about that. But the other thing as well, you also said that Lascelles apparently was actually on his way in the summer, but Howe blocked it.
Yeah, that's another thing he said. He said he was going obviously to Besiktas in the summer for 10 million, and then he blocked it. He didn't want him to go.
Which is mental, because I would have took the 10 million. But again, now it looks like a masterstroke, doesn't it? With all the injuries we've had, he actually played a very pivotal part of our season, and he actually come out looking a lot better than what he used to. So again, Eddie Howe essentially. But, I always want to see Lascelles play the easy pass. I'm on Eddie Howe's side on that one. I don't want to see Lascelles trying to spring them. But again, he's in the news again because Besiktas are still persistent on buying Lascelles. We have heard there's a contract offer on the table for him to stay at Newcastle, but it'll obviously be with terms that he's not particularly fond of. He's not going to get a lot of game time, but he's got the opportunity to go to a team that is in the Champions League and also play every week. but he's got to move abroad. So he's got a big decision to make. If it's 10 million again, because I still think we'll get 10 million for him, 10, 15 million quite easily. Are you in the boat now with let's get rid of him now and let's get FFP? Because we're 35 million over FFP at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that 10 million could help a lot.
You've got surely though, if they're going to let obviously Manquillo went out yesterday. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't even know how much he went for. Nothing. I don't think anybody.
That's the message of the night. That is brilliant. Oh man, that is fantastic. Go on, sorry, Ian.
That's true.
Caught me by surprise, that one.
No, that's what I was saying. Surely though, like I say, Manquillo's gone, which is off the wage bill, which is good. I don't know how much we got for him. I haven't seen anything. But with Lascelles, if somebody, because an important position like that, and he has come in and done a canny job actually this season when he's been called upon, surely we'll have somebody lined up to come in. My worry is how. Well, Manquillo's on a free.
Yeah, that's what I think. This one here, he's a good squad player. The problem we've got, mate, is that his contract runs out in the summer. So he either signs a new one at the terms that we put in front of him, or we sell him now because we don't want to see him go on a free. If we can actually get a little bit of money for him, we might as well take the risk now because we have Kraft as backup. And Kraft has actually proved himself quite well since he's come back from his injury. I've been impressed with his performances. So it wouldn't. There you go. Someone else has said it as well. Mark said it. Yeah, we're going to come to Manquillo. He's actually part of the stuff that we've got. Hey, pal, hope you're all right. Looking forward to our chat on Sunday. I've got so much going on. It's crazy. You heard from your city source? No, you've been very quiet, mate. Will you keep your current manager moving forward? Oh, Michael must be a fan of a different club. Will we keep Eddie Howe? I think it's a resounding yes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Long time no speak. Right. So where are we up to? So we'll just delete that one. We can delete the plane. We can delete the cells. Oh, this is very interesting. Miggy. So I have been told that there was 2 players who have spoke to Saudi representatives. One of them is a complete non-starter, but the second one is Miggy. The first one was Isaac, by the way. And Isaac will not go to Saudi Arabia. He's too young. He wants to play Champions League football. There's no way he's going there. We could fetch probably 150 million quite easily going to Saudi from Isaac, but that would be a non-starter for me. But the mouth-watering fee that I've heard from Miggy really tells me he's probably spoke to them, but there's no way we'd get it. It's 60 million because he's not worth 60 million. I was hoping for 20, 25. Go on, sir.
For that kind of money, pack his bags now and fly. I'd try and play in there myself.
I would. I would get a private plane paid for him.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen a little bit of that which was on Transfer Live, I think it was obviously the Benzema he's floating about between so many clubs, and our name was brought into there, and the Miggy was part of the deal. Whether that's the only one I've seen, but I can't see Benzema coming and playing second fiddle at Isak. No way, because no.
Definitely, but I would love Benzema at the football club. It wouldn't. It doesn't make sense.
60 million, and I mean, as you know, I wasn't Sir Maximan's favourite fan, but 20, we got 25 million for Max.
5 for him, yeah.
Yeah, so like for that kind of money for Miggy, it's surely if that's true, bloody hell, that's a no-brainer, wouldn't you?
I think he's definitely on his way, though. I think he's one of the stars that we'll sell. I think he's end up going back to Atalanta, to be honest with you.
Because there is miles better out there than Miggy.
Yeah, there is.
His work rate, you can't knock his work rate. It's just the other end that frustrates him for Newcastle to move forward. We need somebody with work rate and quality. And unfortunately, Miggy lets you down in so many bad areas of the pitch, which we've spoke about many, many times.
Yeah. I mean, I do love Miggy, like you mentioned, about his work rate and stuff like that. And I find that he's the best option we have at the moment. And until a better replacement comes in or we sell him to get a replacement, You just got to get behind them. Appreciate the quick response and answers. Chaps, will Newcastle finish in the top four? Nope, definitely not going to finish in the top four. And what's the state of affairs with injuries at the minute? Shite. Doesn't. Yeah, this is why I think it's a load of rubbish, because fair market value will apply to PIF-owned clubs. So if he does go to Saudi Arabia, it'll get scrutinised by the Premier League, and they'll say, "Well, Miggy's not worth 60 million, so no, that transfer is not going through."
With the injuries there, funny enough, Callum Wilson's going to be available for the next game. What I've seen, I think it was a 3 back, and 1 potentially coming back sooner. And Craig Hope put it on quadruple players coming back, and I think Murphy was the other one that's hovering about. So that's and the rest, obviously, Anderson with his stress fracture, Willock. I think Willock was the other one, and Harvey Barnes. Now, if we get Harvey Barnes and Willock back, for me, if Isak's fighting on song, you don't miss Callum Wilson. It's just if Isak goes down, you've got to rely on Callum Wilson. But the likes of Harvey Barnes and Willock's, for me, we've missed him massively this season.
He's said it time and time again.
He's when he picks that ball up and deep and runs, I just think he's a fantastic footballer. But he's been out that long. How many games is it going to take for him to get up to speed? We tried it the last time when he come back, and obviously I don't think Eddie Howe will make
blew up in our face, didn't it?
Yeah.
Miggy is the hardest grafter, at least 25 million. I think so. 25 million is probably around about the market value for Miggy to Saudi, to be honest with you. I'd agree with that. You could tell second-hand City had absolutely nothing. Bench was honking. Our bench was absolutely honking, you're right. We had a massive chat about that as well. But yes, I can definitely see Miggy going, and I think, again, this is going to really, really help. No, don't sell him. Don't sell him. No, not for me. I will never sell Willock. He's too young to sell. He'll get over this injury stuff. I'm positive he will. It's just we rushed him back and we shouldn't have. Yeah. So this one is someone I would have took in the summer before Everton bought him. Mauro, who used to be on the channel, who will be back on the channel when he's better, is a massive fan of him. He's young, he's a powerhouse, he fits the bill. And I think this is a summer signing being moved forward if we can get him in January. Everton are obviously in a lot of trouble. I think it's a loan to buy in the summer, but we will fork up the money in January if we really, really have to. I think he would be an absolute perfect signing because Phillips is out of our reach.
Yeah.
I don't think Phillips fits the profile now with his age and the money they're asking for him when you can get this lad for 50 million.
I mean, he's got better and better this season. He's, like you say, he's strong. He's very, very good. He's one of the standout players. He's one of the standout players in the Everton side. Definitely. That would improve us bringing a player like that.
Absolutely, I'm all for that. Massively all for it. I think he's quality. I think he's only 23.
Yeah, it's an Eddie Howe
50 million. Yeah. And I think we should have bought him in the summer. I don't know what happened or why we didn't get him, but obviously a lot of players we were linked to ended up at like Everton and West Ham and Villa. So if we can get him, I would definitely go for him. He hasn't been that good whenever I've seen him. Maybe that's because he's playing in the poor side. Possibly. But he's had good games as well. And he's a powerhouse, trust me.
He had a good game.
He did, yeah. He could be the next Joelinton in a way. Powerhouse, doesn't take any crap. You know, he can hit a ball as well. I've seen him. But as what's going on with Hall, is he going back? Everything we've heard, he's staying. So we'll just have to see. Seriously though, lads, have we got any money to spend this window? Yes. Just not a lot. DeLitt is my dream signing alongside Botman. We are in dreamland. I agree with that. And yes, he is a beast.
Yeah, DeLitt actually said he wants to go.
Boom. He was the last one I was going to talk about, but since he's in the chat now and everyone's talking about him, he wants to leave. I think he would be perfect alongside Botman, like someone's already said. I mean, could this be a deal with trips involved?
Well, this is it. You just because obviously the trips one and it's concrete, mind. That they do want them. Is the Tottenham lads trying to get together again? Kane, Dyer, and Tripp. But then people saying that Trippier's wife didn't settle in Madrid. Is she going to settle in Munich? It's one of these, It's. But me, I'd be devastated if Trippier left. But he's 33-year-old. He's done fantastic for us. Again, if these things are true, what's going on behind closed doors, they mightn't put up with that kind of stuff, so they mightn't be wanting another way out. If there's a potential player coming the other way in this delete, it could be a better deal for Newcastle. But like I say, I must reiterate, mind, I would be absolutely devastated if Trippier left. He is a fantastic captain, but maybe you could see what could possibly happen.
Yeah, we'll talk about Trippier again for a little bit because lots of things are coming. Would he go to Germany? Yes, he would, because Kane's wife's there, Dyer's wife is there. They all speak English. Apparently in Spain, no one spoke English. It was all Spanish.
Apparently in Spain, what they do is with all the foreign players is they have like their own little estate, where they put the players. And Diego Simeone actually lives on that estate. So
yeah.
So what they do is Simeone will go and see them every day. But what they were saying is, if you heard Trippier's interview in depth when he first came, he did say that his wife was always isolated. You would go to like parties and stuff, and sometimes his wife would stay at home. And they're not saying parties because them Spanish, they don't have parties. They will do. They have the meals outside and like obviously Pep Guardiola says, you English, all you want to do is drink. Well, all I want to do is eat and have a nice glass of wine. Do you know what I mean? So, and she said, I didn't feel settled or anything like that. But you're right. There's obviously she's got friends over there. You don't know how far away they're going to be living. You just these things. I mean, if you think about it, he was at Tottenham for a while, and it's one of them where it possibly may have a little bit of legs. But like I say, I'll be devastated if he leaves.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying all day on Twitter, I can see both sides of the coin. I can see the business side of it, because apparently the rumor is we could get up to 20 million for him, which is more than we paid for him.
Yeah.
So the FFP balance sheet looks a lot better. He's 34 this year, so there's another reason why it's basically his last move. So from the business side of things, I can see it. I can see it from his point of view. He'll be playing in the Champions League again. He'll win a trophy before he retires, because he's going to win something in Germany. From a footballing side of it, for us fans, I hate the idea, because he's a perfect captain. You can tell by the way he talks, the way he leads the team. We've got two young fullbacks in Tino and Hall. They're only going to gain more experience if Trippier is there to learn from. So from the footballing side of things, it doesn't make sense. But from the business side of things, it does make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been times this season where some certain fans have went, get Trippier out, we want Tino in. That's and then obviously when you can't have it all, don't get me wrong, Tino's going to be a fantastic defender, completely different player to Kieran Trippier, and this understudy to Kieran Trippier I don't get, because you're never ever going to be able to
replicate him or better him, really, are you?
That's the right word, replicate him, simply because he's dead balls, he's deliveries. But defending wise, probably Tino at this present time, what you see is better than Kieran Trippier. His recovery is better than Kieran Trippier. Just what Kieran Trippier is doing, he's very, very good. He's got experience now, so he puts himself into positions where he doesn't have to make tackles, where Tino will be a little bit naive, but then his recovery, so it makes him look like he's a fantastic tackler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a bit quicker.
Yeah, but you can see, like you've knocked the nail ahead, if potentially that is. But I've seen a loan deal, mine as well, which that is absolutely ridiculous. Well, I've never seen a figure, but I've seen a loan deal, which I thought doesn't make any sense at all. But like you said, if that figure is 20 million for a 33-year-old, and he's probably looked at don't. If that deal is legit, he would have already spoke to Harry Kane, and Harry, because obviously friends speak, and he would have turned around and said to me, "Go, this football, what you've probably only got 3 or 4 top sides that are like it'll not be as competitive for him." Week in, week out, what it is demanding in the Premier League. Like you say, he's got a chance he'll win Bundesliga, he'll probably win trophies out there. He'll get good wages because Bayern Munich play massive wages, by the way, and he'll be playing in a world-class team. And another season at Newcastle, would he have that opportunity again? So, because he'll be another year on, it's kind of, I can see it as a player's point of view, if it's true, and I can see it from a club's point of view, if it's true to make. If you're going to double that salary for financial fair play, and no one came Trippier, and his attitude and everything. If he's going to get that kind of figure, he's probably going, "I'll go." If do you know what I mean, to help the club.
He took a pay cut to come to us, didn't he? And then thinking he can get that kind of wages over at Bayern Munich, is in the twilight of his career, get 20 million for him or 25, or get this man in as well. He knows he's going to have a great time in Germany potentially. He's going to win something, and Newcastle are going to get a great deal out of it as well. And that's the kind of man that he's always been. So,
I mean, probably when Trippier signed, because obviously Amanda painted a beautiful picture of, we want to win this, we want to win the league, we want to get into the Champions League. We've done that. We've been to a cup final. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any silverware. So Kieran Trippier might turn around and think to himself, another year on, we're not going to get in the Champions League. We're not going to a Carabao Cup final. If be realistic here, if Man City, Liverpool are in that FA Cup, the top sides, are we going to potentially win an FA Cup? We'll have to have a fantastic run to try and do that. So you have to
get past Fulham,
exactly, and that's going to be really tough. So you can see where this could be a move that may happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's even rumours of PSG as well, isn't there? Because they could be selling their right back to Bayern Munich instead. So he could, but I can't see him going to France, though. Can you? I mean, it's an easier commute, I suppose. You know, for in between games, maybe, or in between windows. You know, I think if he quits international football, he adds another year onto his career, so he could get 2 years in France or Germany quite easily. But it's interesting, and it has got legs. This is the thing, guys. This is the one thing that has got legs for everything that we've said so far from the start of the show, leading up to now. You know, there is legs in this Trippier talk. So an FFP is a thing, unfortunately for us, 35 million over it. That one sale could bring us back in line potentially, and along with maybe Miggy going, Manquillo gone out the door. I think he was the next one we were going to talk about, to be honest with you. No, that was a Warner. We've done that one. I forgot to put the Manquillo stuff in. So Manquillo has left, or almost left Newcastle. Rafa said there's just some paperwork to sign. We do believe we've obviously terminated his contract so he can go on a free, because Celta couldn't afford to buy him. But that's a big win for us because we haven't had to pay up his contract. We've just cancelled it, which means that comes straight off the balance sheet, doesn't it? Yeah. And it's a great move for him because he gets to reunite with Rafa. He's a decent player. Obviously, he's not going to get in front of Tino or Trips or Kraft potentially, but I think he was probably a better right back than Kraft. What was your favourite Manquillo moment?
Well, the ones that stand out straight away are the two. Leeds.
Yeah, won the free kick.
Playing
that left back.
Yeah, I always remember him when he won the free kick and he turned around, he had grass in his mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, the goalkeeper for that goal was shocking. But the Man United one.
It was. Yes, the goal.
The Man United goal was the one for me. When he ran 60 yards on an overlap and just braided in the bottom corner. But us, he's never let us down. Do you know what it is? His CV. I would love his CV.
Yeah.
He just played for all the top sides and
from one shit house along the road.
Yeah. And to end up back where he belongs, I think he's been a fantastic professional. Never headlines, just I wish him
never
all
complained.
The best. I just wish him all the best, mate.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the same. And I think he improved when Howe came in. I think he was another one who did improve, but injuries just unfortunately ruined his time at Newcastle at the end, which is a shame because he was starting to look quite good again. But that goal at Old Trafford was brilliant. It was the one time we've seen Maxi actually lay one on a plate. What's your thoughts on Rico? I don't know. Who we're talking about? Do you know? Do you understand that? Sorry,
No.
Les. I'm miles away on that one. WhatsApp is worse than me at the minute. I can't see a message, but I've messaged you tonight to see how you were, mate. The moment you left. It's very harsh, Tom. Right, this is very interesting, and I want to highlight this one. So this is all about Bruno. I don't think Bruno's going anywhere at all, to be honest with you. There's obviously interest from Liverpool, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain. But this, because obviously there's loads of people saying, oh, you can go for 35 million, you can go in 3 installments and all this sort of stuff. But it does say here very clearly that Newcastle would instantly reject any club trying to negotiate below the terms of his release clause, which is understood to be 100 million, although the structure of it is not as straightforward as bid, instantly triggering negotiations. So we've obviously put the 100 million, but he's asked for it. Bruno's probably asked for it just as a safety net if we don't maybe get Champions League football next season, because he wants to play and that he is getting on a bit. He's 27, 26, 27. You'll want to be playing in Champions League. So I think a big push next season will happen. But that assures me a lot that it's not easy for a club to come in and just take them. They've got to pay top dollar, which is very reassuring, isn't it?
Yeah, and so they should. Why should we let our top players just go easy as that? And why it doesn't make sense where you can buy a player but in 3 installments when he's a top player. Where Grealish went for 100 odd million. That at Chelsea, was it last January? He went for 105 million signed for Chelsea.
Yeah, Caicedo, yeah.
No, Caicedo, and the other one, the centre midfielder, the Argentinian. Enzo. So if you want them, you've got to pay the money for them. And that is a lot of money, by the way, for a footballer.
Yes.
So, and I mean, again, the financial situation the club's in, I think that'd be as much as I love Bruno, you've got to build your team around Bruno, Isak and Botman, like I've said, if you shows 100 million up front, the way we are, I think that would be so hard to turn down.
Yeah, it would be hard to turn down, but
I think it would go down to the player wanting to.
I think that's what it is. The club have put 100 million to start negotiations, and the player can then decide, no, I want to stay. Yes, I want to go. Which is nice. I mean, it's a nice way to do it in a way, because they'll speak to the player, and if his wishes is to leave, they will honour his wishes.
I mean, the way Bruno celebrates a tackle, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the club coming in and saying, right, Bruno, we've accepted the 100 million, and he runs in front of that fucking directors and just goes, I'm not leaving, and goes,
yeah, I'm not going to them, the Scouse bastards. I love it. We've got one more topic to talk about, and it is about next season and about how it's going to go. But before I do that, don't forget, hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying the show and have enjoyed all the information. Hit the thumbs up button. It's a massive, it doesn't cost anything, guys. Don't forget about our amazing sponsors, Diacro, code BAZ20 to get 20% off any of their clobber. The link is in the description below. And Football Prizes, a new sponsor, we're giving away 2 £50 credits to their site. There's a very good chance you could win a big prize with £50 credit. Trust me, because they only give out limited tickets, they sell limited tickets for all their prizes. This is one of the bigger ones with 333 tickets in. I've seen them for 191 tickets or 200 tickets. So you can buy up most of them, to be honest with you. This is a big one because there's 15 prizes to win. A full signed shirt from this season. There's 2 Joelinton shirts. There's a Rob Lee shirt. And there's lots of other prizes you can win as well. So check them out in the description. They're an amazing new sponsor, and I'm very proud to be giving everything that we're going to offer me back to members. So you have to be a member. But it's 99p. It's out. Right, the last little topic. Newcastle are set to announce a series of sponsorship deals in the forthcoming weeks that will further boost the turnover that has risen to 250 million since the club were taken over by Saudi Republic Investment Fund in October 2021. Right, This is my theory, and then you can shut me down straight away if you want to, or you can agree, or you can have your own theory on this. All this talk right now about players leaving is a bit of a fire sale in January on top of the 8 players who were out of contract in the summer, is clearing the decks, ready for a massive push in the summer. If we don't get European football, we will push to be top 4 or potentially win the league next season. I actually think that's what we'll do. If we don't get European football, if we get European football, they'll do the big push, but it'll be more difficult to win the league because they'll have 2 or 4 competitions to play in. The top 4 will definitely be the aim. That is my theory for next season, and we're going to go big in the summer because of all these sponsorships. I think they've been waiting for this summer coming up because of the 8 players out of contract as well. They've kept their books tight. They've done what they've needed, and now they're going to go, right, this is our moment. We're going for it. Would you agree, disagree, or do you have a different theory?
Winning the league, mate, I think you're a little bit...
I tell you what, with our squad, and they're all fit, and then you add 4 or 5 players into the mix of quality, which I think will happen in the summer, and it clicks. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, I think the sponsor. I think they'll do it. I think the training ground's going to get sponsored.
Yeah.
Training
gear.
The training gear is to be sponsored. Also, there's still talks I've heard about naming the stadium again to get more money in as well. But the thing is that, like you said, there's still a lot of deadwood on our books to get rid of, massive loads, and to
8
fill
of them gone in the summer. 8.
Yeah, and to fill that gap, what's going out with top like £45 million players, £50 million players, right the way throughout the squad, is just it'll be so exciting.
Don't forget, you got Willock to come back. You got Matete to come into the fold. He's had a great loan at Feyenoord, and I think he could be ready. He's been playing Champions League football. You throw him into it. You've got Ashby coming back from Swansea, who could be back up for Tino at right back. You know, all of it's sort of falling into pieces for me for this summer to go big. Tonali's back next season as well. Yeah. I forgot all about him.
I can't wait to see Tonali week in, week out. I believe he's a massive talent. Him of just the flashes what we're seeing this year. I just think we've got so exciting times to come as long as we keep the top, the core. For me,
the core has to stay.
The core's got to stay because then I think we're taking a step back again to rebuild what they've put in, what they've worked hard to put in place. You get your Bruno, your Botman, and your Isak. If you take one of them away, you, like I say, you're kind of taking a step back in my eyes. But you to bolster that squad for pushing for top 4 again, I agree. I think the league. I think we just because I think Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City, obviously, I just think they're a good. I mean, look at what Liverpool done to their aging midfield and what they have brought in with Gravenberch, Slabatsai, and McAllister, and obviously they've still got the young kids in there as well. Curtis Jones has come out.
Curtis Jones is a new player, isn't he? He's unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, and then obviously Man City starting to bring the young through again because Rodri's is one of the best midfield in the world at what he does, but. Is Man City going to have where they're going to bring a top player? In Arsenal, I think they're still 2 players away from challenging from a league title. So I kind of think we're just that little bit behind for a title. I think it's still going to be between them 3, but we'll certainly push in that right direction. I
think it'll be top 4 next year if there's no European football, 100%. With all the players we'll buy, Eddie Howe working with the squad for a full week going into games. All those other teams who are playing 2 times in a week, we won't be. Our intensity will be back. You know, that pressing from the first minute to 60 minutes and then losing your legs won't happen anymore because we'll have a bench. It'll go all the way through to the 90 minutes. I think everything is set for a big push next season. I really do. Maybe not winning the league. That's just me being optimistic.
Yeah.
But if you get so many players in, you just never know, do you?
the thing is, if it's quite easy for Eddie Howe, in my eyes now, is to play that certain way, simply because what the players that we've got available and what we've got in the squad, you can see. But again, if you're against the top sides, you've got to have a different way to play. So we're not always going to press. So we're going to have to be careful of the players that we'll bring in that'll adapt to a few systems. You know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting, and I hope we'll have a much more positive summer window and not a depressing. I mean, to be fair, the news for the past 3 months been depressing for Newcastle. It doesn't seem to be positive, especially off the player side with injuries. Everybody thought we were just going to go bang, get in the transfer window. I mean, I thought we would get Calvin Phillips, like I said, because I thought we needed a 6. I still do think we need a central midfielder, a 6 to come in. And again, I still think I would love another forward to see us through. I think if we get another forward in, I think that would just be enough. But depending on going out, if Lascelles goes out, obviously we must have something coming back the other way in a defender. So we might end up on a right centre half or a centre midfielder and forget the forwards. So I
think Kraft would be the cover if Lascelles goes. I think they'll take the risk.
Yeah, possibly. But like you say, if this kid's openly spoke out that he wants to leave, I mean, that other one from Lazio and all that you said the other day, that's another good shout that potentially could. I mean, that's a snip that at £12 million for a defender these days. So we'll just have to wait and see these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. That's the end of the show. It's all the information we've got. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, like I say, about our sponsors. They're absolutely great. Check the description out for the links. Hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. You'll see in a lot on this channel because I'm going to be asking them every time to come on when I have shows like this. But there is a show on Sunday. It's a Premier League one. I've got lots of different people from different clubs coming on. We're going to have a chat about FFP and VAR and all that sort of stuff. So tune into that. Monday, I'm doing a special. I think it's Monday. Yes, it is Monday. With Fez, Liam and Lindsay, telling about their stories about how they've been banned at St James's Park and how the fight is going on, and basically a lot of shit that's going on behind the doors that not a lot of people know about. So tune in for that. Tuesday, we're doing the prize draw, and then we'll be back on next Friday with Ian for the look ahead to the Fulham game, the FA Cup game, Saturday for the watch along, and then Sunday for the review. So it's literally non-stop. But I've got a night off tomorrow, so unless something kicks off tomorrow as well. But I'm at work. Not.
It's Saturday. I'm at work. Hopefully, we're going to enjoy a little bit of. Hopefully, we're going to enjoy a little bit of football tomorrow because
yes,
it's been a right old week this week.
Yeah, it's been an absolute. Honestly, today it just blew my mind. I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a show." Ian, would he come on? He's like, "Yeah, of course I will." I love it. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's absolutely amazing. The chat, you have been great questions, and I hope we've answered everyone as best as we can. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care till then.